Recording in progress.
Hi, everybody. It's Kendell, Lenice, and welcome to Sheentalk. I'm so excited to be back with you with this amazing show, with this amazing guy right over here. Everybody is talking about him, but you might not recognize his face, but you know his show because social media is lit up with this show. This is StarZ Show BMF. Y'all heard about Big Meech and, Rick Ross rapping about him and the Detroit legend and all of that. Well, this is Randy Huggins, and he is the show's creator and showrunner. Welcome, Randy, to Sheentalk. Hey. So let me read about you because you're not new to this industry, and
21 years in the game.
How many?
21 years.
Shield, where he served as the writer's assistant for 4 seasons and earned a story by credit for the episode titled Cutthroat. The same year, he joined the writing staff of the unit, and the next season, he was the show's creator. He was hired as the staff writer. Huggins wrote 5 episodes of the unit and assisted in countless others during the 4 seasons. He also was, you've done a lot, and I'm glad that I'm reading this because I want to give you your flowers in this industry. He went on to become the executive story editor on StarZ's first scripted drama, Crash. Then he became a co-producer on NBC's medical drama, Trauma. Prior to that, Huggins served as the producer on Criminal Minds and wrote 3 episodes in that series. Now, BMF is maybe close to his heart because he was born and raised in Detroit. Huggins graduated from St. Martin de Porres High School and later received his BA in the historic Grambling University, State University. Huggins was a 5th grade teacher in the Detroit public school system for 5 years before relocating to Los Angeles, where he currently resides. I need my water. Like this resume, this bio, and I'm sure everything is not in here. Wow. Wowzer.
Thank you for saying that. Again, 21 years in the game.
21 years.
Yeah. And I started from the bottom. I mean, that's...
And now you here.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a fantastic journey. A lot of ups and downs. But I can tell you one thing. It's never been a boring day. It's never been a boring day.
That's what's up.
Days that I smiled. There's been some days that I cried. But it's never been a boring day.
I love that. The life coach in me loves that, right? It's so many things about your bio as a life coach because I'm a talk show host too. But that life coach, that bell is ringing because first of all, I love that you said it's never a boring day, even though it's highs and lows, but it's never boring. But I also love the fact that you remixed your life a little bit. You were a teacher. So tell me how you became a Detroit public school teacher and then you landed in Hollywood with this amazing career. Like, how did that transition happen?
I mean, that story is funny in itself. So I went to Grambling and I was a history major. And to graduate, I had to take an elective. So I took a theater class. You know what I mean? And I never knew about theater. And I mean, I didn't know what a scene was. The professor told us to act it out. And I'm like, I didn't know what it was. So I started acting out things in my life. He was like, just act out something in your life. And this woman in my class, her name was Erica Wright. And she used to always say, you lying. That didn't happen. That's too, I don't know nobody like that dramatic. And I was like, nah, I'm for real. And so she was like, well, you need to write that in a book or a movie or something. You know what I mean? And so that lady graduated. You know what I mean? And then the next year I graduated. You know what I mean? And so what ended up happening, I went home to work at the Museum of African American History, which was opening up Charles H. Wright Museum. And it was going to be the largest one in the world until the Smithsonian kind of like dumped us. But what happened was they told me how much that job was going to cost. So I'm like, oh, it ain't no way I can do this. So I started teaching. I was an emergency substitute teacher in a regular position. and I did that for 5 years. I got my own class. I had my own mentoring program. But I knew that wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? And then one day I went to Chicago and visiting some classmates from Grambling, and they were like, yo, did you heard Erica's album? And I was like, what? And then he showed me the poster, and Erica Wright was Erica Badu.
Yeah, because she went to Grambling.
First person, and she went to Grambling and had drama class with me. And she was the first person in life that ever made me think about writing. So then I went back home and was teaching school, and I just knew this wasn't for me. So I found out about a film workshop called New York Film Academy in LA, and it was like $8,000. And I'm on an emergency substitute regular position salary. So I wrote a letter to all my family, friends, and coworkers asking them for donations of $100, $250, $500. Within 3 weeks, I had $10,000, and I drove straight to California 33 hours and just hustled from the bottom up. And 21 years later...
Come on! Come on now, Randy. That's what I'm talking about. And I love it that it didn't... See, all you need is somebody to ring that bell or ignite that fire. Like, wait a minute. Like, I did this with ease. I told this story, and now Erica Wright, you might know one of my other girlfriends. I'll talk about that offline because she went around the time where Erica Badu was there. But to be able to see someone doing something that's similar with words, how you kind of manifested your own little lane over here and said, you know what, I'm not a singer, but I'm going to make this happen as far as writing scripts. And as a writer, I think that that's huge. It's huge because although people say you can teach people to write, sometimes I beg to differ. Sometimes I think it's in you, that storytelling and that ability to be able to capture an audience authentically. And it sounds like you had that.
Yeah, I think I'm more of a storyteller than a writer.
Yeah.
I come from a family of storytellers. I mean, like, everybody in my family is funny. And like, you know what I mean? They funny. And now we would tell the same story 10 times, but it's just as funny each time. So I grew up learning how to do that. And then it was about just having somebody, teach me the craft. You know what I mean? And, what's interesting is oftentimes you have to pay your dues to get that. You know what I mean? And I paid my dues. I mean, I started as a PA, a production assistant.
Yeah.
Then moved to a writer's assistant. You know what I mean? And my whole story is really about filling up. Like, I sucked at every, but your audience not gonna believe this, but I sucked at every position. But people like me. They like me. And I think sometimes you can be too good in your job. Like, you could be such a great assistant that they're like, I don't know what I would do. I gotta keep this person.
Yeah.
I gotta have them. They knew they didn't need to have me. You know what I mean? They just knew they liked me and I was funny and I could tell stories. So they were like, well, try something else or try this. I was the writer's assistant on the Shield and didn't know how to type. They didn't ask me that when they hired me.
Right, come on. You don't disclose the stuff they ain't asking. Because you know your ability.
So, no, I seriously think it's about, I lead with these 4 P's. I think I'm going to get 4. I think I'm going to get all 4. It's planning, it's patience, it's prayer, and it's persistence.
I love it.
If you have those 4 P's, I mean, and just look at those every day, you know what I mean, and try to instill that into your spirit.
Say them again. Y'all pay attention.
It's planning, it's prayer, it's passion, and I knew I was going to mess one up. Patience.
There you go. That's, whoo.
Thank God for my cousin sitting next to me during this.
Hey, cousin. a black folks always got a cousin nearby.
You got to. Because then I would have been all jammed up.
Yeah. But that's so powerful. Your story is just amazing. And I can tell because your personality, when I jumped on here, you can tell it's infectious. Like your smile and your energy, seriously, I'm not just saying that. It's jumping off the screen. So I can understand. You're welcome. I'm serious. I can
really glad to be here. I am so glad to talk about my show.
Yes.
To talk about my city. And also to talk about my university, Grambling State University, the place where everybody is somebody.
Come on. Shout out to the HBCUs and all the graduates from HBCUs because you're producing amazing people. I didn't graduate from an HBCU, but I did go to Morgan. I did go 1 year, so I got an honorary, but I graduated from I graduated from another school. But okay. So let's get into it. So how important and why did you decide to make this series on StarZ BMF? Because we've heard about it for years. We've seen documentaries, but how important was it to you to make this series, especially coming from the D?
Well, you said it. You hit the hammer on the nail. I mean, I am from Detroit, and we're talking about two of the biggest urban legends to ever come out of my city. So that was dope. And when when I first got on this, 50 turned me on to meet, and we talked on the phone every day. And the first thing he said was, I don't want to tell this. Everybody knows the story about these two dudes from Detroit who went to Atlanta and started getting money. He's like, I don't want to tell that story. I want to tell the origin story, why we got into it. And he was like, you would think we came from a broken family. We didn't. We came from a nuclear family with a father and a mother. And we were raised in church. The Bible was on the same verse in the living room every day. We were just poor as all get out, which made us make certain decisions. You know what I mean? So that meant that I was starting a story in Detroit. You know what I mean? That meant that I could tell the culture of Detroit. Yeah. Because my hometown has its own culture. You know what I mean? We talk different. We don't say hello. We say, what up, though? We don't eat hot dogs. We eat conies. You know what I mean? We don't say soda or cold drink. We say pop. You know what I mean? Yeah. Specifically, when you start talking about music, our musicology is different, especially in the 1980s. I mean, like everybody knows Motown and Eminem. You know what I mean? But when you think about the 1980s, you think about contemporary gospel. Yeah. Wine, Clark Twister, Fred Hammond, like Marvin Sapp. That's all cut. Yeah. That whole flower was burning up out of Detroit during that same time. And then also, you have to talk about techno music, which is a derivative right now. EDM is a derivative of that. Everybody thinks EDM came from across the seas. We were doing that in Detroit in 1981 with the Belleville 3. Come on. You know what I mean? So it's a way for me to shed a light on one of the most underrepresented cities in America. So I really wanted to make Detroit a character the same way Baltimore is a character in The Wire, the same way Los Angeles is a character in Snowfall. This was my opportunity to represent the city that made not only me, it also made Big Meech and Southwest Tea. I love that because I'm from South Jersey, but I've been in the Baltimore County area for almost probably 30 years. So I get it. I totally get it when we're talking about The Wire and then you want to do that for Detroit. And I'm glad that people are really catching on to this. That whole episode, my daughter was like, Ma, you got to talk about You Can't Stop the Rain. I'm not a singer, but that used to be my jam. And now, everybody jam. Man, but now my daughter and them is all over TikTok. And I was like, my daughter loves, she loves BMF. And watching it and that whole episode and that song, and now it is everywhere. Tell me why you decided, other than that's our jam, why did you decide to use that song, or did you have anything as executive producer? What made y'all use that, especially during that scene? No, that was me all the way. We were shooting another scene in a house, and it was I think it was Meech, I think it was Cashed Out and Kofi, and I was in another room working on a script, and I heard a voice, and I was like, and I looked up, and they were singing Jodeci. You know what I mean? And I walked in the room and everybody was not. And Kofi plays Lamar. So just think, he was in his full character, but he was singing and he sounded just like Casey and JoJo. And they was all jamming with him. And I was like, that's you? And I was like, oh, you about to lullaby somebody to sleep. And then I heard him sing, and that gave me the inspiration. And then I was like, but what was the joint? What was that one? And then I was like, it's that. You know what I mean? So we put it together and did it. And I don't even know if your audience knows, but Eric Kofi Abriva is from Britain. So,
okay.
Yeah, he's from Britain. So, like, you don't even hear it in his you don't even hear it when he sings or when he acts. But when he talks regular, it'll shock you. You're like, huh? So yeah, I just heard him sing and wanted to put that in there. And you're right. To see Fabulous and Davies take it and do it, to see all of these doggone memes. I got a tweet from Russell Hornsby the other day.
Oh, did you?
Who's shooting in New Orleans, and he was like, hey, man, I can't walk down the street without somebody saying, let Meech back in the house. to feel the love and appreciation that this show is doing for the culture.
Yes.
I really feel like we did it for the culture.
Yeah.
And I say we, not me, because it was a total team effort. And my music supervisor, Big Tank, Derek Thornton, I mean, he can get anything. I mean, and You Can't Stop the Rain was one. But did you see the last episode? We had another one.
No, I'm still got to catch up. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
I ain't gonna tell you that. But okay, I even go back to early episode. We had Timex Social Club.
Yep.
Like I wanted to be in the 80s.
Yes.
And just take
you did a good job.
Take you back with everything and put you in Detroit. So to have people receptive to what, you know what I mean? A lot of people didn't know was going to work. You know what I mean? I had people questioning me.
Really?
Can't Stop the Rain. They was like, really? I'm not sure if that's going to work. You know what I mean? So to see it take off like it has, I mean, it's one of the most rewarding things. And I'm going to tell you something. I was in Detroit because my mom's not doing well. I was in Detroit
I'm sorry.
about a week ago, and I went to a nightclub, and they started playing it. They played You Can't Stop the Rain, and everybody was singing it. So I really feel, I'm saying this jokingly, but loose ends should maybe cut me a check.
Come on now.
Back.
You know what? I'm with you, and I'm gonna see if I can get you your coin from them. You know, because you're absolutely right. Because everybody knows in the '80s, loose ends. What? That was the jam. But you know what? Some people, it ain't on rotation a lot with some people. You know, so now it's on heavy rotation, and I think they really need to reach out because my daughter ain't know nothing about that song, and now,
She love it.
Love it.
Yeah. It's on her playlist.
Yeah.
You like, dang.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember it takes me back to the video and everything. When videos were it, but I think that was such a courageous move, especially like you said, when they weren't sure it was going to work. And that's why you are the boss over there, because you got to make those decisions sometimes where other people won't agree, but you like, no, trust me, this is going to work.
100%. It is, but you know, you said something that's very interesting there. I still think it's a total team effort. So what I try to do is put people in positions who are smarter than me. And I try to listen to them. And I always tell them, I didn't know I said this, but everybody quotes me and saying, put your stank on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do it the way you do it. And believe me, I am the boss. If it's too much stank, I'm going to rub some of that off. Where it needs to be. But it totally is a collaborative process. And this whole show has been a labor of love.
I absolutely love it. So how much is creative liberty? How much is fact? And how much is fiction when we're talking about BMF?
I would say there's not a story on here that I didn't hear. You know what I mean? Now, I wasn't there. So I can't tell you what was said in the scene. But this is a drama, not a documentary.
Yeah.
A documentary, your responsibility is 100% the facts. my responsibility as a drama writer is entertain.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to bend left to make it more entertaining. But like when you see, and I'm gonna give your audience this, when you see Lamar, when you see him outside of Monique's house, and he has 666 on his license plate, that's real. He has the devil having sex with the angel on the hood ornament.
Yeah,
that's real.
Wow.
So in our show is when you see Demetrius walking to the hospital with a Mac 10, that's real. The interesting thing about our show is the things that people are like, that didn't happen. Those are the things that happen. And the things you like, oh, that probably happened. Those things did not happen.
Wow. So did you ever get any pushback? Like, why are you telling that story? Like, you know, did you get any pushback when you said, just from anybody in the industry, from their families, anybody?
I got pushed back on one scene. I mean, I'm sure I've had more, but this was a big, a woman, I'm not sure who she represented. She's like, why would you have a woman having sex in the bathroom? You know what I mean? And why would you make her a heavy-set woman? And I was like, well, she's an actress. I mean, like I think if she was like just gorgeous, like you see that on every TV show. And I thought it felt more real that this was somebody, you know what I mean, that he would potentially be with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I got a little pushback on that. I always get the question of, what do you think? Do you think you're perpetuating violence? No, I don't, because they never asked that question to The Godfather, to Casino. They never asked that question.
Goodfellas, all that.
Tell a story. They hit us with that question. So really, I think our show is about family. It's about love. It's about brotherhood. It's about the city of Detroit, and it's about how genius these two young men were. And I think that's one of the conceits that we do, is that we get into the mind of a 17-year-old. You get to hear how he thinks. You get to hear how he sees the world. And what's going to be dope is we're going to continue to do that, and we're going to watch the elevation, you know what I mean, of this young man in our series.
Come on, and for people that don't know, that's really Big Meech's son, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow. Wow. So just even, because that's the thing, and you made a good point. Like, they're not talking about that with Scarface or Godfather and all of that. They don't say that. But when it's a black movie telling that side of the story, people say something. But now we're at a point where we have diversity in our stories. So I think something like this is important, because we have diversities. We see all kinds of stories, and this is based on truth. So the last thing I want to talk about, and I appreciate your time, Randy, is episode 108, King of Detroit. That's airing soon. Let's talk about that episode. What should the viewers see in this episode? What should we look forward to?
You know what? I'm going to tell you. This episode, you're going to laugh. Your heart is going to sink. And I guarantee, like Charles Barkley say, I guarantee you're going to jump out your seat.
Oh, Lord. Now I got to watch this one and then catch that one.
I'm sorry, say that once more.
I said I got to hurry up and catch the last one so I can watch, so be ready for this one.
That's tomorrow night at midnight.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you see this.
All right.
Going down. We got it. And I want you to tweet with me and tell me what you think.
Uh-oh. All right. I'm going to do it, because it's a good...
Can I give all your viewers and listeners my social media?
Absolutely. Please do.
Please tweet me. Tell me how you like the show. It's TV's Randy Huggins. TVS RANDY HUGGINS. Tweet me. Tell me you like the show. I got some real Detroit funk in this show. I'm about to really, I'm taking it there. 1980 something.
You gonna make everybody want to visit the D, because they want to see.
Let's go.
They want to see some good music, some good writing, and this positive brother right here who is creating something for the culture. Let's give it up for Randy Huggins. Yes, it was a. You're so welcome. It was a pleasure to sit and talk with you. Thank you for your time. Everybody, make sure you check out BMF on StarZ. The 21st is the next episode, so you want to catch it. You can get that free trial if you need to, but catch it. Go over Mama and them's house and check it out. Right.
We get it and cut it off.
Right.
Whatever. Check out the show.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. This is Kendell Lenice, the remix coach for Sheentalk, Sheen Magazine, Sheentalk. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms and me at Kendell Lenice. God bless y'all. Good night. Thank you. Thanks, Randy.